Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Salty Dog Podcast.
Let's get salty!
What is up, guys? I'm Clash. He's Dookie. Welcome to episode 11 of the Salty Dog Podcast.
Man, have we been doing this for 11, 12, I guess, technically, weeks?
Technically 12. This would be episode 12, but we had to take last week off, unfortunately. Just life getting in the way.
Life happens. Hashtag life happens.
Oh, that's so deep.
Right?
Always like to start off the show with something just like really deep like that.
Yeah, we just want to reach down and touch everyone in their soul, with permission, of course. I mean, that's, just uncalled for.
We hope everyone leaves this show feeling touched.
Yes. In a good way. Anyway,
you've got a new background there. You got some new digs going on.
Yeah, pardon my dust or whatever. We just moved offices, and we don't really have the same kind of like solo space setup as before. So for now, I'm just doing it out of here. See how that works. I don't have headphones in, so that's nice. But at the same time, I hope that your audio doesn't get looped back. That would be dumb.
I don't hear anything. But I guess we'll see on the recording.
Yeah. Because we'll see once it's done.
No, it looks good. It looks comfortable. I wish I was on a couch.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like doing it from the couch. Yeah.
Awesome.
Couch is a good place to do it, man.
Yes, always. But
always.
let's get right into the show. We actually have a lot to go over this week. I guess we're playing catch up from last week. What we actually have 14 card challenge submissions, and that's not including mine and Dookie's. That is a record.
16
cards total, 14 submissions, which is awesome. I love it. We're also going to we got some questions over Twitter, so we're going to do a new Q&A segment. So we're going to be skipping some of our usual segments like the homebrew decks and the salty card, because we have so much other stuff to do this week. But kind of wanted to start it off with a discussion about the state of the union of Hearthstone. Like, where is Hearthstone at right now? Because I feel like it's getting a lot of negativity. I mean, it's almost like the norm, but it seems more so to me right now. Like, have you been noticing that too?
No, because I haven't been like trolling any forums or anything.
True.
Just been insanely busy over here, but it is a competitive game with a competitive community, and those types of people just tend to be negative and have bad attitudes sometimes. So
except for Salty Dog Podcast listeners.
They're great, and we're we're positive people, and they're positive people. I'm positive that they're people.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's confirmed. At least I hope it is. But I just kind of wanted to look back at the recent history of Hearthstone, because we've mentioned this a couple times. Dookie and I have been playing this for almost 3 years now, and I feel like so much has been added just within the last year, not even a whole year.
Yeah.
Just so recently, so many things have been added. So just kind of wanted to like go through and take a look at if Hearthstone's future is really as bleak as everybody seems to be saying it is right now. So we've had Heroic Tavern Brawls implemented. Which, I mean, I could kind of take or leave the Heroic Tavern Brawls personally, but a lot of people really like them. It's good for streaming, and I feel like it's a step closer to getting like a tournament mode added to the game.
Yeah.
Which that was my thing about it.
The only problem I have with Heroic Tavern Brawl is just the fact that it replaces that week's Tavern Brawl, and I don't get a free pack.
Yeah, that's pretty much my problem with it too. I actually have not taken the dive yet and spent the 1,000 gold on trying it yet.
Yeah, I still haven't either.
I'm gonna do it next time though, for sure. Like, I'm ready. But so we've had what's that?
I said you should.
I will. So Heroic Tavern Brawls, that's one thing. Ungoro, I mean, of course, it's a collectible card game, so they're gonna have to release expansions. Always. I mean, that's the minimum you can do and have a card game is release expansions, right?
Right.
But I mentioned Ungoro because we have like consistent 8-class representation on ladder right now. I mean,
for the first time in a long time.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned how long we've been playing it, because I don't remember a meta as healthy as the standard meta is right now.
Yeah.
As far as just representation, variation within constructions of decks. This is all possible, and I feel like it hasn't been this way in a good while.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what's are we one class? Is there one class that's not really on ladder?
Warlock.
Is it Warlock? Wow.
Yeah, Warlock is in a bad place right now, but you know what? Warlock can afford to sit out this meta. Honestly, it's been so dominating in a lot of the previous metas. I mean, we've had Handlock, right into, Reno Lock, and Zoo was on top of its game for a while, so...
Yeah, Warlock is pretty much always good.
It's to be expected that, I mean, just getting consistent representation of the other 8 classes is hard enough as it is. I mean, the balancing that has to go into it. So, I mean, it's to be expected that there's always going to be one outlier.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it being Warlock for now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton of attachment, so, I'd rather have a nice healthy meta, so.
Yeah, and that's what we have. Ungoro brought a great healthy meta to the game. We have wild support coming in from Blizzard. We had the Wild Heroic Brawl, going back to the Heroic Tavern Brawls. They just brought out the first one that was Wild. And, of course, the Wild Tournament that's coming up for the top 64 ranked Wild players this month.
Yeah.
Which, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Because it's Wild support, but also because of the way they're handling it. There hasn't been any tournament qualification that's just been like, yep, top 64 players. It feels so much more inclusive of all players. Like, you almost feel like maybe I could do it if I had enough time to just,
It's cool. No, it's clever. And we talked about it last time that it's doing it to probably to make it so accessible so it'll attract people, which I think is smart.
Right, and I mean, that says a lot about where their head's at as far as things that we could be looking for in the future. Maybe they start doing the top 64 like a tournament, a separate from HCT tournament for ranked standard, the top 64 players. And maybe that's another half step closer to the tournament mode that we all want so badly in the game.
Right. Yeah, tournament mode would be...
Yeah.
I guess Arena's the closest thing to that, but it's more like just a draft tournament.
Yeah, I guess it's the closest consistent thing, but I think the closest thing in the whole game is the Heroic Brawls.
The Heroic Brawl, for sure.
So, aside from Wild support, they've also added, very recently, a lot of support for Fireside Gatherings.
Yes.
Yeah, we have in-client support now to find local Fireside Gatherings. It's right there. You can
not sure if it works.
Might not be working yet, but hey, we're moving towards it.
Yeah, we are. We are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I mean, they've let us know where they're at, like, mentally with Fireside Gatherings. They want to make them a lot more robust than they are currently.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to test mine out.
What's that?
I'm going to test mine out real quick.
Oh, you're going to see if there's any Firesides nearby? Actually, I should check mine because Amy's should show up.
There is one.
Anyway, whether that's working or not right now, it will work one day. And also, they're going to implement the location-specific Fireside Gathering features into the client, like the Fireside Gathering specific brawls that they mentioned they're going to start bringing.
Which is a super fun idea.
Yes, anything that promotes more, cooperation and interacting with other players that isn't in a competitive way.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead. We're probably going to talk about this later.
I was just going to say, because if you're just competing, one person's got to lose. And
absolutely.
Somebody's going to walk away a little salty, but if we could have a little bit more co-op stuff going on in the game, I love seeing them support that.
Yeah, whenever they have like the Tavern Brawls where you team up to defeat a boss, like that's super fun, and they give you these clever decks that give your opponent cards or whatever that would normally be like a bad effect, but it's actually good. That's always, I'm always like thrilled to see those Tavern Brawls show up. So yeah, I think co-op would be amazing.
Yeah, if they implement Fireside Gathering Brawls that aren't co-op, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? I mean, it's a bunch of people together. They're gonna want to play together. So can't wait to see what they have in store for that. I hope it's something really new and like innovative.
All right, we're scanning for Fireside.
Uh-oh. I can't wait.
Got to turn on location services, which it is on. Updating my location. Location updated. All right, that's the name of the Wi-Fi. Got that. No fireside gatherings.
All right, so that needs a little work.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but I am in LA. I would think there'd be something.
I don't know, but something to keep an eye on for sure. At least, maybe if the in-client feature is telling you there are no fireside gatherings nearby, just double check, like do a Google search. But it should work at some point.
Use the old Google.
But so speaking of the innovations and stuff they're bringing to fireside gatherings, that kind of leads right into kind of a hot point topic right now, which is the whole Hearthstone Buffalo Wild Wings partnership as far as venue for fireside gatherings and preliminaries goes.
Yeah, it's interesting that it actually has come this far, because when we went to our first our only fireside gathering, but when we went there and I was like, oh, cool, it's at Buffalo Wild Wings. That sounds good to me, but that seems like kind of a weird choice for a Hearthstone event. And I was like, they probably do them wherever, like wherever we'll host them, they'll do them. But I guess it's legit now.
Yeah, I think it turns out that was actually kind of like a beta test for what they were planning on implementing, which is, I guess, like a wider partnership between Buffalo Wild Wings and the Hearthstone community, which definitely I agree with you. It seems weird. I was like, I didn't really know what to expect from a fireside gathering venue, but it definitely wasn't a sports bar, what I was envisioning. But, we said it at the time, and we can confirm again that we had a blast at that Buffalo Wild Wings fireside.
That was an awesome time.
Right. But that being said, a lot of the negativity about this sort of partnership is coming because they decided to make Buffalo Wild Wings a venue for not just fireside gatherings, but for Hearthstone Championship Tour preliminary tournaments.
Right.
Which, that is even more surprising to me, honestly, that they decided to use that kind of a space for a tournament setting.
Yeah, I can definitely see where some people might raise some eyebrows there.
For sure, and I definitely get all of the complaints and like the concerns, but I think that a lot of it comes from just the anxiety of the unknown. Like, how is this gonna look? What is it gonna be like inside Buffalo Wild Wings while this tournament is taking place?
Right.
And I mean, I think some of that falls on Blizzard for not being as open maybe as they could be about the steps that they're taking to ensure that Buffalo Wild Wings is a good spot for tournament play.
Right.
That we're going to have stable internet there. What, if anything, is going to cut down on noise level? I mean, it's a sports bar, busy restaurant. They're not going to be closed. They're going to be taking normal patrons. So what about noise level, distractions for the players? And, just the Hearthstone community at large, people who come to just watch, kind of in this space where they're commingling with, normies. Normal normies. Non-nerds. In this setting where, people are coming to a sports bar, and I mean, we think esports is legitimate, but a lot of people necessarily don't share that sentiment.
But this could do something really cool for esports in general. Like, it could bridge that gap of I'll be in a Buffalo Wild Wings because I go there way too much, and and there's like 98 TVs, and they're all like traditional sports.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if just one of these was esports? Just one.
I agree.
Would that be the end of the world? Not that I care about esports that much aside from Hearthstone, but it would be neat if that gap could kind of,
I agree. I think it's getting closer and closer. I mean, nerd culture, gaming culture, whatever you want to call it, is definitely becoming more mainstream, and I don't mind seeing this sort of merger. It's like, we don't have to be like pushed off to some private area where nobody else is going to be there.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I kind of want to put more of a positive spin on what's going on than what a lot of people are saying about it. So, I've been talking a lot with Amy Janser, she's an innkeeper. She's the innkeeper of Florida Fireside Gatherings. We had her on the show a couple episodes ago. And I really respect her opinion. She's an excellent innkeeper. I mean, her event was flawless. The one that we went to, everybody had a great time. She went out of her way to make sure that the internet was perfect. Everybody was connected how they needed to be. And Buffalo Wild Wings in general has stated that they're undertaking to strengthen their wireless support. I think specifically in response to this partnership with Blizzard.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if two massive companies, they don't want this to flop. Blizzard doesn't want to intentionally trash their competitive Hearthstone venues. I mean, I'm sure that they have some level of confidence in the venue being able to support what it needs to support.
For sure.
And just a couple of the things that Amy had told me, because she's been doing a ton to set up this HCT preliminary, which is going on at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Brandon. For anybody who's in like the Tampa Bay area or just in Florida in general, if you're down for a drive,
we'll both be there.
Yeah, we will. She said she's been in touch with the IT of the Buffalo Wild Wings, and they've assured her that the Wi-Fi is going to be on point. And in addition, she took it a step further and made sure that they're going to have the support to have the players that are currently broadcasting for, you know, people to watch on Twitch and stuff are going to be wired so that that connection is not going to fluctuate or be, you know, make Twitch streaming difficult for anybody who wants to see it or cause disconnects.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a very good thing.
Yeah, you know, it shows that Buffalo Wild Wings as a venue is at least willing to work to accommodate the needs.
Yeah, there's probably just like a lot we don't really know.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, Blizzard and B-dubs are partnering up, and that's really all we know. And so there's fear and panic in the streets. And but you know, I'm sure they worked out some, like, I don't want to get my hopes too high here, but I'm sure they worked out some really cool deal. And maybe they really are I mean, Blizzard's got Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, and Hearthstone. So Blizzard is definitely in the esports realm. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe they really are trying to make esports at a sports bar like a real thing.
Which, like, I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah. I mean, this could be part of like some grand plan. We just don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why, you know, that's why I mentioned kind of earlier that I think just a little bit more openness, transparency, whatever, just communication from Blizzard about what they're doing at the venue and about why this venue would help a lot. But, you know, that's classically hasn't really been the style of the Hearthstone dev team. And honestly, it's pretty much just going to be, let's see how it goes. So speaking of which, like I just mentioned, anybody who has the means to come out to the Brandon Buffalo Wild Wings location, which is on Badlands Drive, which is awesome for anybody who actually played WoW.
Yes, it was on Badlands Drive, and it was right next to a place called Black Rock.
Yeah, a restaurant called,
Yeah.
We were both 100% sure that the location was chosen because of that. And they were like, no, we didn't even know.
It's like, because I think, Black Rock Mountain is pretty close to the Badlands in WoW. So it's, it was like, what? What is this?
Super cool that just, like, kind of happened. But
awesome.
Anybody who's interested in maybe coming to check out, be one of the first to see an HCT at a Buffalo Wild Wings. Come out to Brandon.
Shit show unfold.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, Amy has told me that she's making herself available for questions on the Florida Fireside Gatherings Twitter and Facebook pages. You can find it just by typing in Florida's Fireside Gatherings. And if you just want to read more about the event, you can just go to floridafireside.com. Definitely gonna be a fun time. Hope to see some people out there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I just think that all these things, everything that we've just now mentioned, the heroic brawls, the fireside support, it feels like a period of beta testing, a whole bunch of new stuff that they want to have going on in Hearthstone.
Yes,
and that's really cool because I think that in the 3 years that we've played, this past year, even these past few months, have seen more change to the game than in the entire combined time. Yeah,
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it makes sense. This game started, Team 5 was literally 5 people.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you know, it grew and grew, and Blizzard's got the budget, and they see the success, and they're like, yeah, let's invest in this. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I say,
glad to be a part of it.
Me too. I say let's, cut down on some of the negativity. See, just at least notice that they're trying. Trying to make something happen here. And maybe it's gonna, maybe it's gonna flop the first couple things that they try. Maybe Buffalo Wild Wings doesn't pan out as a venue, but you can rest assured they're not gonna be like, well, I mean, that's that. They're gonna, I mean, they'll change the venue or they'll make the corrections that they need to make.
Yeah, for sure.
To make it a good experience for everyone, viewers and players.
Yeah, I think, people just need to, kind of wait and see what happens before reacting too harshly.
Yeah, and we'll come back here in a couple weeks and relay to exact detail how it went, because we will be there.
We will get to do that.
But so that was a look at kind of what's been going on. Let's look at what's coming up, because actually there is a little bit of news this week about some new features coming up in a patch. So let's check that out.
Oh yeah, this is good stuff.
Enzyme Gazette always gets the scoop.
Time is money, friend. Keep it quick, kid. I ain't got all day.
All right, so a little teaser came out for a patch that's coming up, and I think I want to say like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And it only mentions 2 changes. I mean, there are going to be some more things associated with the patch. I don't know if these are the 2 biggest things, and that's why they released them, or if maybe there's something even bigger coming. But the first thing is that quests will always be able to be completed by challenging friends.
I'm so into this.
Yes, me too.
Like, why not? Like, why hasn't that just been a thing from the beginning?
Right. I mean, in the week that they've done, I think they've done 2 or 3 of those friend weeks where you could do it.
Yeah.
And you already couldn't complete the quest if you conceded. So they already have that built-in like game system thing.
Yeah. So then, what else is there?
Exactly.
Like holding back? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great, because like when you only have so much time to play, and it's like, well, what do I play with my friend, or do I fucking farm 5 quests and just to get that done,
Right. I mean, especially when it's a class that you don't really like for whatever reason.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
Or like, play a bunch of Murlocs and you're not really into that whole steez. And then you've got to queue up, and it has to be at least in unranked play mode. Which then you're like, why am I doing this? I could be ranking, but now you can just be like, let me just knock this out with a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun that way. I mean,
and you complete your quests together. Obviously, like you can both just do your quests. So it's
just another thing that they're doing to promote more player interaction and cooperative play. Which is cool.
I'm 1,000% for this idea.
Yes, and I'm also 1,000% for the next idea, which is deck list copying. Thank you. This is so awesome that they're doing this.
So what is the specific way that works? Like where can you copy from and to? Like just like clone your own deck and then tweak it or something?
Right, that's one of the uses for it. But okay, so how it's going to work is, at least as far as my understanding goes, this may not be 100% correct, but once you finish a deck, and you've got your list there in the client, then you can click up on your portrait and it drops down. It gives you a few more options, like to rename it or delete it or whatever. There's going to be a new one that says copy, and that's actually going to use the clipboard of your computer, and it's a text file. It is in text. It's like a code. And if you're to paste that, it's going to be a URL, or not a URL necessarily, but it's going to be something that can be copied and used in another person's client. So if I'm like, do you want to try this deck? I don't have to sit there and be like, okay, two babbling books, 2 man and worms. Yeah. I can just shoot you over the link, essentially, to my deck, and you paste it, and then it would fill in all the cards. Anything that you don't have would be grayed out. And then you could choose what to do from there. But, I mean, this is going to make it super easy to swap deck lists to net deck, because whenever there's a net deck posted, it's just going to have the code at the bottom for you. Yep. It's like, if you want to try this deck, take it.
Everyone's going to want that code. Mm-hmm. We can paste the code, in our episode descriptions if we have homebrew decks that week, if people want to just bloop, bloop, try it out. Yep. Yeah.
It's really going to streamline everything. And what you had mentioned just a few seconds ago about being able to duplicate your deck just to make a couple changes. Yeah. I have been wanting that for so long, because I want to test out a new couple cards, but I don't want to forget what the initial configuration was, just on the off chance that I don't remember what it was. And just being able to have, version 1, version 2, version 3, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, that's super smart. Good changes. Good, Blizzard. You're doing good.
Things are happening. Hopefully, they'll announce some more cool things in the next patch. But that may be the majority of it. I don't... They're not necessarily new features. They're kind of quality of life things. But I definitely feel like they're planning on adding some more.
Yeah. Quality of life things are very nice.
Yes, I agree. It makes the game feel polished. It makes it, it's usually the difference between a Blizzard game and a Blizzard imitator,
Yeah, totally.
As far as the meta goes, not going to go too deep into looking at any specific decks or anything, mainly because it hasn't really shifted a whole lot. There are new configurations of decks coming out still, of course, and I'm sure there's some undiscovered decks out there, but... if you're ranked laddering this season, majority of what you're going to see is mid-range Paladin, Quest Rogue, Quest Warrior, Gunther Mage, or Burn Mage, whatever you want to call it, and just the various priest decks. You never know quite what they're going to be using, if they're the Silence Priest, or if they're like the Lyra Elemental Control thing.
Yeah.
But
I think we're in a really good place. I mean, I can't even remember. I don't know if we've ever even played Hearthstone when the meta was this diverse. So
I agree. I
like seeing that.
Definitely, and we're definitely in a place where tech choices aren't as detrimental to decks as they've seemed to be in the past, where where the decks were super rigid, and you felt like if you took one card out, the deck fell to pieces, and you couldn't.
Yeah.
There was no room there. I don't feel that way at all. I mean, I'm still laddering with Tempo Mage, sitting at rank 4 now, I think, and
nice.
I think I've done 4 different iterations of the deck, just responding to common matchups in the meta. Which is awesome. I love being able to do that. Just
for sure. I mean,
switch something on the fly and then win because of it, and then you're just like, yes,
this is ideal. Yeah, like it shouldn't be like, oh look, another shaman. Oh look, another shaman. Oh look, another. And just
hopefully it never gets that bad again.
Those were dark times.
It was a bad time.
So yeah, no, I think we're in a good spot. I think this is ideal. Like, I know that's like a subjective thing to say, but it's probably what Blizzard wants, honestly. Is for you to be able to be like, I like this class, I'm going to play this class, and it's viable, so yay.
Yeah, and why shouldn't it be? I mean, if you're not going to strive for all 9 classes,
it's in the game.
Viable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree. So, all right, so we did get a few questions for a Q&A segment. We're just going to kind of jam into the news segment here like a couple of savages, because we don't have a bump for that yet.
No, it's totally not because we don't have a bumper.
Oh, wait, no, you're right.
It's because we don't want to.
All right, so
let's get into that Q&A.
So I wanted to start off our first Q&A segment with just a really upbeat, just really positive question. It comes from some guy who asks, "Will you ever have a different podcast, one that everyone can enjoy?"
So, I think it's a valid question because, I think it's pretty hard to enjoy this podcast. It's pretty just across the board, just very unenjoyable.
Yeah, we do our best to make it as dry as possible.
Yeah, because we hate our viewers, but more importantly, we hate ourselves. So,
are we doing a good job? No, I think I understand where he's coming from. This is probably a guy who doesn't like Hearthstone, right? So I think asking if I had to interpret it, would we ever consider a podcast about another subject, or I guess maybe incorporating another subject into this?
No, it's a fair question.
It's fair.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is not a Hearthstone channel, so anyone who wants to see me doing a podcast, it's likely that they don't necessarily play Hearthstone.
No, I understand the disconnect there for sure. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
I love just talking about shit. Yeah, like, I mean, in a perfect world, time permitting, I would be down for something like that.
Yeah, and I would even venture to say that, if we if we somewhere along the line get super involved in another game, we could even just incorporate that into the show a little bit or something. But I mean, all things that we would consider. But for now, you're stuck with a Hearthstone podcast.
You're stuck with that rock.
With the Hearthpod Stonecast, which we almost named it that.
The best name. So I'll go ahead and I'll read off the next question.
All right.
So we got a question from Kayoya. What is your favorite non-legendary card? This can be any kind of card, even an ace of spades. I don't give a fuck.
Perfect. Just the kind of question I would expect from Kayoya. Let me see. I'll go. I'm going to say Grave Pact, which is a Magic the Gathering card.
Yeah. Let's see. Blue Eyes White Dragon. No. I guess I want to come up with a Hearthstone answer. Favorite non-legendary, because my favorite card is Leroy. So.
Of course.
What if I have like a favorite? This is tough.
I'm trying to think. I mean, you like True Silver a lot, I think.
Well, True Silver's cool. It's a cool weapon.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. Get in there and fight, maggot!
You mean when he was a 2-1 still?
Back when he was a 2-1.
Yeah, he was OP back then.
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk non-Hearthstone, probably go with Lightning Bolt from Magic.
Yeah.
That 1 mana, 3 damage.
1 mana, 3 damage. By the way,
no overload.
For any Magic players, Grave Pact is a 4-mana black enchantment that says whenever one of your creatures dies, your opponent has to sacrifice a creature. It is the core of every single Magic deck I ever made because I just fell in love with that card. It's absolutely my playstyle. But if I were to have to pick a Hearthstone card, it's tough, but just on principle, I think I have to go with Shadow Form because
nice.
You
know what? Maybe Argent Squire for me.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
I love that card. That is just a solid, like, balanced one-drop. I love one-drops.
I don't like to see it when it comes down on me. I'm like, dang, this is going to be hard to deal with.
Because it's like, it's just a 1/1, but it's got so much, she's got so much potential, you know?
Yeah. I mean, especially in Paladin, which you're always playing or in with the buffs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Coin into that Rallying Blade next turn. That's the dream.
Yeah. But, all right. I'll read the next one out. This one is from Harrison. What is a crappy deck that you wish was good? I'll let you start this one.
Okay. There are a lot of answers. Your answer, because I know what you're going to say, is one that I just think that I would like to see it, but we'll get to that. And then, like, I would have said, if it weren't for the current meta, I would have said Aggro Warrior, because when I first started playing, that's what I wanted to do. And it just didn't work until Pirates happened. So at this point, I guess I would just say Quest Paladin, because I wanted to see the Kaleidosaur go off.
I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
I wanted it to.
So, yeah, I would say.
Yeah. Turns out there's a reason he's the last Kaleidosaur, though. All the other ones died.
They all died. They didn't get stealth.
So, mine is a deck that I have tried painstakingly and without success over every year I've played this game to create, which is Shadow Priest. And by that, I don't mean a deck that throws like a couple spells in it that have the word shadow in them, like Shadow Visions. I mean where the theme and everything is on point to where I am a damaging, like, aggressor of some kind.
Yeah.
And
you're obviously running Shadow Form, because you're not a Shadow Priest if you're not in Shadow Form.
Shadow Form is, the backbone of... I want the backbone of the deck, basically, to be Shadow Form. And the only time I've seen that card actually be used is in, like, attrition-style decks, where literally their goal is to, like, grind the opponent out of resources. which Shadow Form fills nicely there because of how much you can... remove. But I want it to use all the Shadow Priest flavor cards for anyone who played WoW. Just Mind Blast, Shadow Form. I want to put the hurt into my opponent's brain. I want to melt face like I did in WoW with Shadow Priest, and it just never happens.
Your card creation this week adds to that arsenal.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Which is not an accident. All right, you're up.
Dougie Fresh asks, would you guys ever host a fireside gathering, especially some kind of homebrew gathering or tournament? Yeah.
Definitely. Absolutely. It's something I've already thought about a lot myself. I'd love to get something going for that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much like leeway they give you with as far as like how you can theme them. Like as if you could be like, this is a homebrew fireside gathering, no meta decks or something. I'm not sure how that would play out, but absolutely, I'd love to host one.
I mean, I guess if it's not an official tournament and it's your fireside gathering, you can probably theme it however you want.
Probably.
Because I mean, like Amy had like all like the activities and like the quest log to like do and get rewards. So yeah, you can probably run it however you want.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been a better question before Dookie moved to LA, because I think at this point we probably already would have hosted a fireside gathering if we still lived in the same town.
Yeah.
But I mean, coordinating that when he lives across the country is kind of a weird task to.
But you know, maybe someday. Goals.
All right.
So yeah, that's a yay.
Yay, hail, yay. So Hylong asks, viewer guests, yay or nay? My response to that is, what is something that's been on my mind and that I definitely want to implement for the future is more like viewer hangouts.
Yeah.
Where we could do like a group call and like a Discord chat or something, and just kind of something not recorded or streamed or anything, just low key for, you know, anybody who wants to come hang out, maybe talk about decks and stuff. Yeah,
I'd be down for something like that. Viewer guests, I guess, is just kind of a like, well, if you get one person on, then it's not fair to everybody else. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking of something a little bit more just like community, just anybody can join. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
So hangouts, look for those coming up.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
And then our last question is from Tryhard Iguana. Do you miss pre-nerf Yogg Saron?
No.
Yeah, I can't say I miss him, but I don't think I ever got as tilted as you did over him because my games never went that long.
That's true. That's true.
I was either like, all right, it's turn 5, I win, or I know I'm not winning this. So
yeah,
I really didn't see Yogg. I remember we used to talk about it like every day.
Yep.
And you'd be like, yeah, this Yogg came down, and I'm just like, I never see that card.
Because you never make it because you're either dead or they're dead. No, man, I'm so glad that they nerfed it because that card, they never intended it to be competitive viable, and it has no business being competitive viable. And every time that you got blown out of a game that you had complete control of the entire time, just because Yogg decided that it was going to do all beneficial spells. Yeah, totally. Few things have ever tilted me more.
That's bullshit. Like, that card basically says, all right, you know how you're losing right now? Well, spend 10 mana, and you maybe won't be anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that fair?
Like,
no?
You think, like, 50-50 rag shots are bad RNG for the game. That's the worst RNG I think the game's ever seen.
And then, you know, when he got nerfed and he was able to kill himself, it was... I mean, you still threw him down for the same exact reason.
Oh, absolutely. It's a Hail Mary. Yeah, it
just lowered the chance that he would go off crazy well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I can't say I'm a little meh on it, but I can't say I miss it.
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely.
So, we're going to move on to the card challenge segment now, but we are going to go through, like I said, all 14 of the cards that we got from viewers. Thank you, everyone that submitted. But obviously, we're getting a lot more submissions now than we were, the first few episodes of the show. So I think, we always intended for it to actually, once we got going, become more of an actual challenge. So after this week, we're going to kind of redo how the card challenge segment works. We're only going to be displaying the top 6 submissions that we receive. We're gonna, before the show, we're gonna look through them and just pick, the coolest ones, or not doesn't have to be like the most powerful. So don't think that you have to like make these OTK cards or something. Just really well designed cards, ones that are good for discussion. And they have to follow all the aspects of the prompt that we come up with.
Yes.
That's the part that makes it a challenge.
Right.
So just follow the prompt, submit your cards, and we'll be doing the top 6 from now on.
Yep. And for submissions, the best place is probably our Twitter, which is just at Salty Dog Podcast, I think.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Come on, man. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out this wild ride of 16 created cards here. Here we go.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate test.
All right. So we're starting this journey off here with a submission from Wade Stevens, who gives us Armageddon, which
this one
is absolutely probably... No, I can't say it's the most OP card I've seen as far as submissions here, because I'm pretty sure Lenison has a market cornered on that. But this is OP as hell.
Yeah, this is damage to all enemies, including your opponent's face. So, and the mana efficiency is just bonkers.
1 damage, and it doesn't even hurt you or your board. Now, I'm wondering if I mean, it's not worded this way necessarily, but I wonder if he means that your mana crystals are actually being destroyed.
Now, that would be a different story.
Yeah. I think that if it's saying that they're destroyed, the card is still really strong. I mean, you wouldn't be able to really come back from it, but I mean, that's a 0 mana pyro. Oh, I mean, it's a 10 mana pyroblast, but I mean, you're also nuking the whole board if you're on full crystals.
And your mana.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's still probably just too volatile to exist. And even if it did destroy your own mana crystals, but hey, we're designing, legendary spells. So
yeah,
they're gonna be crazy.
Yeah, well, this is absolutely crazy and definitely worthy of being a legendary. Oh, it's a warlock spell too, of course. I see that text. I'm like, clearly it's warlock. I mean, who else would do this insanity? Yeah,
right.
But thank you for the submission, Wade. All right, up next we have Sali-san with New Leadership, which is 10 mana. I think it's a mage card. I can't really tell because it's gold, but I think it's mage because of the blue in the middle. But,
blue. Yeah, either mage or shaman.
Yeah, and we got the picture is some Yu-Gi-Oh cards getting swapped there. Which is, the text is, swap all of your opponent's minions with your own. I'm not sure if it means in the deck or like just on board or just everywhere, like hand, board, deck.
I would think on board. That's how I interpreted it, was on board, which kind of makes it like a... Honestly, don't know if this is like broken or anything, because it's kind of like it's kind of like mind control, but you have to give up whatever you have. So,
but if you have nothing on board, it's a mass mind control.
Yeah,
it steals everything that they have.
So with the right timing, I mean, it's totally fucked.
Yeah. You could even do some insane stuff like run like the bombers or whatever, the 5 mana bomber thing that comes down and and then when it dies it hits you in the face. Like you just give them those things.
There you go.
Thanks, I'll be taking, like, you're fighting against a druid or something, like a aggro druid, and you're like, I'll take all these buffed things and you can have this. Yeah, I think this would be absolutely insane. I mean, Priest would just cry and cry and cry if Mage got this.
No, for sure.
But super cool idea, though. I mean, even just beyond the power of it itself, just a mass mind control, you could even make it even worse in a couple ways, I think, which is crazy. So, definitely legendary. Thanks for that one.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to design cards, the way to go, I get this question a lot, and I guess it's not something that's super obvious, but if you want to make cards to submit, the best place is hearthcards.net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's super easy. Super easy.
Yeah, they make it it's super simple to do. So, and you can upload your own picture and everything. So you don't have to be like a Photoshop wizard or anything.
Yeah. Yep. Good call. All right, up next we have one from a regular here, High Lung. This one is really cool. I really like this one. It's called Stock Up for the Hunt. It's a hunter card, and it reads, when you draw this, draw 2 cards. Yeah.
This card is very cool.
When you draw this, draw 2 cards. You can't draw cards until the end of your next turn.
You can't. It's not just skip your draw step. It's just you can't.
Right, yeah. So I mean, Hunter doesn't really have much card draw, but if they were running something like a Flare, I guess that wouldn't be active on that turn. Like, if you used it, you wouldn't draw. But I really like this because I should explain how it works for anybody who's kind of confused at the 0 cost. Anybody who's ever seen what happens if you draw one of the cards from the card ambush. The rogue card ambush shuffles into your deck.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes off the top of the deck, floats into the middle, showing you what it is, and then summons the Nerubian.
Right.
That's exactly what this card would do. You would draw it, and it would just kind of reveal itself. You would instantly draw the 2 cards, and then that would be that. The effect would be done. I think it's awesome because, I mean, unless you're running draw effects, which if you're running this, you wouldn't be because it prevents you from doing that. All you're doing is you're not skipping a draw. You are just drawing 2 in one turn.
You're just
draw next turn.
kind of, for Hunter, which is typically a pretty aggressive class, I think that something like this, I'm pointing over here like they know what I'm pointing at.
I'm doing the same thing, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Something like this is great, just a great, just extra ammo, you know, for that fast start. I mean,
exactly. It's like they're stocking up for the hunt.
Yeah. Wow, crazy! Like I'll skip my next draw and draw 2. Like, what's the expression? 2 in the bush is worth 1 in the barrel, or what? I don't know.
I don't know. I know what you mean, but
having it now is always better than having it later.
Yeah, I agree.
So
yep, and I mean especially for Hunter, because
super clever idea.
Yeah, I mean so often Hunter ends up backed into a corner where they're like, if I draw a kill command, I win. If I don't, I lose. And this just, this just helps you with that. It's basically an auto-include. If this were to actually get printed, you would just put this in every deck, because why wouldn't you want that? Super cool. I like it. All right, up next we have Goldrin's Teachings from Sean Ford. This is a 10-mana legendary druid spell. All of your minions, wherever they are, gain choose 1. They get, and the choose 1 would be they either get +3, +1 in Wind Fury, or and Rage +2 and +2 health, which is crazy.
Yeah,
it's really good. I mean, the stat, the ability and stat distribution that puts on every minion is insane. I just don't know if it's too little, too late. Once, like, if you haven't already secured winning the game by 10 mana.
Yeah. Is that gonna do it?
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, Druid does have, the innervates and all that, all the mana acceleration. So I mean, that's something to take into consideration. So maybe they can get this off a little earlier, like when they've got like a good board state and just everything just goes haywire and they kill you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this definitely goes in a ramp Druid. I mean, you're running Wild Growth, you're running Jade Blossom just because it's, gives you the mana crystal. You don't care about the Jade. You're running Nourish, Innervate, everything that gives you more mana, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a neat card. It's powerful.
I really like the concept of giving your minions choose 1. It feels like a card that they would make, a card at least that gives choose 1 to your minions.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't understand that immediately. So every minion you play, you're gonna get to make a choice. Yeah, that's really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. I would think that maybe like for the second choice, other than the +3/+1 in Wind Fury, instead of Enrage, it could be like +2 health and Taunt, because that way you don't have the ability to be blown out of the game after you play this. Yeah,
because that's what I was thinking because of stuff like Ancient of War, where you get to make them either a big attacker or a big taunt. That seems to be the theme with Druid. Exactly.
Definitely a cool idea, though. I love it.
Yeah, I like that one.
Do you know, WoW lore master, do you know who Goldrin is? This wolf thing? I've never heard of it.
Nope, I don't. I'm not sure about Goldrin. It may not even be from WoW.
That's true. I have no idea, but he's a really cool looking wolf, though.
Yeah, man. He's a cool wolf guy.
All right. Next up, we have Swift Revenge from Lenison. This is
this one's cool.
Yeah, this one's cool. This is a hunter spell. It's 1 mana. This turn, your hero power deals damage equal to that which you took last turn. So, for 3 mana total, because you're doing the 1 to cast the spell, and then you're doing the hero power, you would deal... If somebody hits you for 10, they Pyroblasted you, and you shoot them for 10.
So it's kind of like an eye for an eye, but with timing. Like, however, whenever you want it.
Well, it's actually... It's 4,000% better than eye for an eye, because it's not triggering off of one source, which can just be like a ping. It's taking everything together, which I think that's what makes it too OP, especially at this mana cost. But I think it would be okay. I mean, the exact same interaction would happen from the Pyroblast example, but I think it should possibly say deal damage equal to like the highest single source of damage you took.
Right.
Because that's kind of like giving you, like, because if you take a huge hit from a single source, chances are you're pretty far behind at that point, because they've got like a giant minion, or just fired off a Pyroblast or something. So that makes it more of an equalizing play, because then if they're in a highly advantageous spot, then you just get to punish them for it. Yeah,
it's just kind of a punish card, not because if it's worded the way it is, it could just be a complete blowout. Like, I mean, there's turns where you take 25 damage. Like, it happens.
Oh, absolutely, depending on.
Just like, boom! That's game.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine aggro druid, pulling off a Savage Roar turn, but doesn't manage to have the damage to kill you, and you're at like 2, and exactly, you hit them back for like 20 damage.
Blow their head off. That's it.
Pretty insane. But definitely a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I like cards that strategically punish certain things, because this is also a play around card then. Especially worded if it's only from a single source, because then the whole time your opponent's like, I cannot crush them with one source. I have to try to...
Yeah, you have to spread it out as much as you can.
Yeah. It just changes which archetypes would be good against it. Super cool. All right, up next we have Town of the Wicked Avatar from Nepeta. This is a Warlock card. It's
very good.
Yeah, it is. It's a 10-mana card that says Summon a Wicked Avatar. It has all of the abilities and stats of all friendly minions that were not killed by battle during your turn. So my interpretation of that is every minion that died on your opponent's turn, right?
Let me see if I can... I need to blow this up so I can read it. All the abilities and stats of all friendly minions that were not killed by battle during your turn.
Right. So to me, I mean, the only minions that are going to be dying on your turn are ones that you're trading with, which I would assume that that's battle.
Yeah.
So...
Well, this could be talking about stuff like Hellfire or Shadow Flame.
True. That's true.
Because I think it has to be during your turn.
Okay, so okay, I see. I was going a different way with it, but so it's any creatures that basically use suicide, because they're not dying other than if you do it intentionally to them or through trading, but trading doesn't work because it specifically says that.
So this is kind of like, cards that have those drawbacks, like if you have to Hellfire the board or you have to Shadow Flame a big minion, this kind of like catches you back up.
Yeah.
So you get this Wicked Avatar and this thing's just horrifying.
Right, so, you throw down Cho'Gall, Shadow Flame it for a 7 damage board wipe, and then when you play this card, among anything else that has died on your turn, you get 7/7 stats. Pretty crazy. The abilities thing is what makes it super OP, because you're just going to make sure that you suicide minions that have every keyword in the game. Yeah.
Gets nuts.
Yeah. Very cool, though. This definitely feels like a big epic spell, I mean, it's got a huge, just massive game-changing effect on the board.
Absolutely.
Crazy. All right, up next we have Good Doggo from none other than Kuyoya. I don't know what class this is, because it's gold, but it is 3 mana.
I think it's Priest.
Yeah, it is Priest, you're right. I didn't even notice the white in there, but so Priest for some reason gets all enemy minions lose taunt for this turn. It's actually
what a good boy.
Because I mean, how are you going to block Good Doggo, right? You'd have to
Yeah.
hurt him, and he's just too good of a boy.
Oh, it's a neutral card, but it's a spell, so there are no
okay.
such things as neutral spells. But
Now there is, though.
But now there is, so that's a 12 out of 10 doggo wood pet.
No, actually, this seems like a card that you would absolutely be crazy about. Just like, nope.
Yeah, I do appreciate getting rid of taunt. I mean, it doesn't have a body attached to it, so it's like, is it any better than like owl? Is it any better than Ironbeak Owl? But it does hit everything in the event that there's like a Twin Emperor on the board.
Or you're playing the Quest Warrior. I mean,
or you're playing the Quest Warrior.
And there's literally a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it could be very advantageous.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I would consider running something like that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just like a hyper aggro deck, Warrior would love this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they get to a point where they don't need all their mana every turn by a long shot anyway, so they're just waiting for that turn when they can, push through this damage, and this opens it up.
Yep.
All right.
Good doggo.
Good doggo. Very good doggo. This card here is called Spectral Reaper, and it comes to us from Cordy Man. It is 7 mana. Destroy half your opponent's mana crystals. Heal your hero or a minion equal to the amount of opponent's destroyed mana crystals.
All right, so that's OP.
This is also a neutral spell, isn't it? I think it is.
Looks like it.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just...
It's insane. I mean,
I don't think they'll ever implement destroying your opponent's mana.
Especially not on this scale, but if you think about it, though, there are certain decks where this card is not very good, and one of them is just all low-cost aggro decks.
Yeah, this does nothing to aggro. Aggro is like, all right, well, I mean, they get a heal off of it.
At most, it's for 5, which is not very much.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely broken against a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. Like pretty much anything mid-range to control that really relies on their mana. I mean, I think this would possibly punish Druid harder than anyone because they're over there trying to wild growth, and then you're just like, nope.
Yep, you're like none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is super cool though. That looks like Fiddlesticks to me.
I think it is Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, I think it's Fiddle. I think it's like Fiddle fan art for anyone who's had the unfortune to play that terrible game. All right. Next, we have Ransack from Dougie Fresh. This is a 2-mana rogue card.
I hadn't seen this one yet.
Yeah, this one's cool. I like it. Whenever you play a card this turn, your opponent discards the top 2 cards of their deck.
Oh.
So, Dougie misses Milrogue, methinks.
Well, to each his own.
Yeah, but I think this is too strong because discarding, other than making yourself do it in Warlock, is not a thing in Hearthstone. Milrogue had to mill you by forcing you to draw your cards, which at least gave you a chance to fight back against it because if you could empty out your hand, then they're accelerating you. So if you're playing aggro, it was punishing.
Yeah.
This, you're just like, well, too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Milrogue could burn cards, but you had to have a full hand before that would happen, and it did feel unfair when that happened. When you had to burn cards, that felt super broken. Mm-hmm. So something like this would just be demoralizing.
I think it's too strong, just based on the nature of Rogue. I mean, you would just run like Prep, Shadow Step on Cold Light Oracles, plus, Backstab, just so you could, basically this is like the spell version of Edwin. Like, it could basically, if Rogue's got the right hand or they saved up enough, they could almost OTK you with this. I mean, not really, but they could blow you out of the game. But,
you could shred an entire deck with this in just one turn. I mean, Rogues pull off those miracles. We've seen it before.
It's too easy. I mean, it would look a lot, honestly, like the Quest Rogue deck. They would just be running like Fireflies and Shadow Steps and It would absolutely wreck you.
I like the idea, though. I mean, it's like, because it's not combo, but it is.
Maybe if it was like one card, I think that...
Yeah, maybe if it was one card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like the idea, too. I mean, mill seems to be a mechanic that is in almost every card game. It's in Magic. It's well, I don't play any other card games, so I don't know. But I don't know. Mill. It's just something that I associate with card games. Like, you should be able to mill your opponent's cards. Like, I was shocked when I didn't see any discard effects against your opponent in Hearthstone, because that's something I'm so used to. So
which would totally break Hearthstone, but that's another topic.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, cool ideas. Definitely legendary. Wreck you.
Yeah.
That would wreck you. All right. Next we have Hand of Paeltris from Mario DeFalco. And this is a 6-mana priest spell. Your hero power becomes summon a random legendary. So basically, rather than having the Paeltris body stuck to a card, and it only stays active while she's in play, you just basically become Paeltris yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really hard to say because Paeltris was so terrible and never saw play, but I think that was only because it was temporary and she was so easy to kill.
Yes.
This
is busted.
You think so? Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah. That's pretty, because in your hero power, I mean, I guess you have like one low value turn because you have to play this card and it costs 6 mana.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, you're getting such ridiculous value out of your hero power.
Well, actually, plus you could think about running it in a Highlander Kazakus deck, and then you can do this on curve, 6 mana into a 0 cost legendary.
Yep.
Yeah, probably a little too OP.
Probably a little. It's a cool idea. Definitely a cool idea.
Priest deserves it, though.
Yeah, just give it to him.
Print it. I like it. No, I miss interactions with hero power. I miss Inspire, and everybody's probably, like, rolling their eyes at me because Inspire is just like this agreed upon terrible mechanic, but I always just have to say, like, it was only terrible because of the cards that were printed with Inspire were bad.
Right.
It as a mechanic, I think, is very interesting.
Yeah.
And if it was made,
a cool idea.
Yeah, if it was made more powerful, then it would be totally viable in the game. I really like hero power interactions, I like Shadow Form, I like stuff like that, so I really like this idea. So next we have Dark Scavenging from I'm a Dragon. It's a Warlock spell, 9 mana. Cast every spell you've discarded this game with random targets, and your hero is immune while the spell is cast.
This feels like a legendary spell.
It does.
It's like this might not even necessarily go over well, but it's just such a big cool effect that I don't know, it seems legendary to me. I like it. I think it's cool.
It's an absolute build around card. I mean, I think it could definitely be abused. You would run it in some kind of control archetype where you're running all of the spells that would hurt you but hurt everything else, but they're not going to hurt you. So you're running Fellfire Potion, Hellfire, just everything that's absolutely insane for nuking the board and the other player.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're controlling the board because of those cards, but you're also discarding them, and then when this comes down, it's explosions, explosions, explosions.
Right. I mean, just imagine if you'd cast even just 2 Hellfires and 1 Fellfire Potion. I mean, that's instantaneously 11 damage to their face.
Yeah.
Opponent's face, and 11 board wipe damage.
And the board is going to die. Yeah.
So, super insane.
Yeah.
Really cool.
No,
is that Putris on there? Is that...
It could be.
I think that's Putris. I could be wrong, but...
Yeah. It kind of looks... Oh, it's right by Ice Crown. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this must be the Wrathgate.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Talk about the best thing in WoW ever. The Wrathgate.
Good reference.
Yeah, that was super
cool.
cool.
The whole Wrathgate cinematic was just mind-blowing.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. I like this one. It would be insane to see. Just
just explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Next we have Summon the Elements from Griffin. It's a shaman spell, 10 mana, add 4 elemental lords to your hand, and overload 4. I don't know what elemental lords are. I think that...
Well, it would be Ragnaros, Neptulon, Alakir, right, and then Therazane, but there is no Therazane card.
Well, what about Kalamos? Like, I guess there's a ton of them, but...
Kalamos? Who's Kalamos?
Kalamos is the new shaman legendary that lets you choose the invocation of air, water, or fire.
Oh. Well, yeah, there's only one elemental lord of each element.
So Kalamos isn't one? Okay, I thought...
So Kalamos isn't one.
Oh.
Well, it used to be Ragnaros for fire, but now he's dead in the canon.
Right.
So it's someone else.
Yeah, Neptulon... Okay, so I guess there are enough, because I was trying to think, and I couldn't think of that many. But...
Yeah, it would just need to print a Therazane card.
Right.
Or maybe this card's the only way you get it.
Well, I might have been mistaken, but I thought that somebody emailed us a card submission, and the cards weren't working. I couldn't download them, but it was I could tell just from one like blurred out like kind of what would you call it, like a thumbnail of one of the attachments was a shaman card, and it looked like it had to do with elementals. So I didn't know if he had like tried to submit the rest that way, but it might have been someone else entirely.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
So I really like this card. Think it's a really fun effect. How much mana is Alakir?
Alakir's 8. Ragnaros is 8. Neptulon is like 8 or 9. So
yeah, so you're not playing any of these on the next turn.
That's the problem. That's the problem I see too. Is the overload actually prevents you from using any of this stuff, and you're paying 10 mana. Huh?
The fix, because I mean, 10 mana for all those cards is fine. Like,
is it though? Because you're like that's like turn 10 or like an extremely important turn, and you're paying 10 mana to do nothing that turn.
Yeah, no, you're right. What I was going to say was I think a fix could be, without changing the wording of the card at all, is just whatever Therazane is, she needs to be 6 mana.
So you can always play Therazane?
So you'll always be able to play Therazane the next turn, and then she can come down. I would imagine, because she's the Lord of Earth, she's probably a big taunt minion.
Right,
so,
yeah, Earth Elemental is taunt, yeah.
So I feel like Therazane would be 6 mana. You drop her down, she's like a 5/10 or something, 6/12, something crazy, and then that kind of keeps you holding it together until the next turn.
Yeah, it'd be a risky play for sure,
but you're still only playing one guy a turn because they're 8 mana.
Yeah.
So it might be a little too slow.
I mean, it's a super value card in like an extremely slow meta that has almost no potential to like exploit huge openings that you would be leaving yourself by using this card.
Yeah.
And sure, I mean, you'd beat any control deck if you established after that.
But I really like the idea of it.
Yeah, me too.
It once again like seems so legendary, like the elemental lords are convening for whatever reason, and it's 10 mana. So I don't know, it's cool. I like it.
I like it too. Yeah, it's super cool. All right, thanks for that one. Up next we have the Rubber Duck, which is a submission from Harrison.
Yes.
It's a mage spell for 5 mana. Causes 3 random minions to return to your opponent's hand. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's like cheaper than Blizzard and Flame Strike, and just gets rid of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, of course, this is a rogue thing to return, sap, return things to your opponent's hand and stuff. But I think this would be super annoying. I mean, and the card type is pest, so it's going to be annoying.
Yeah, it is a pest.
But yeah, it's I think that a mage archetype would use this. Something just basically in place of another freeze, you would just do this.
Yep, just more stalling, more control.
Yes, more control. Your favorite kind of deck to play.
My favorite.
All right. Thanks, Harrison. Next, we have... we didn't have time to fix the border on this one. This comes from Jesse Nash, and it's called Arcane Texts. It's an 8-mana mage enchantment, which would, I guess, kind of be like a new card type.
Yeah.
And it says your spells cost 1 less, so that would just happen for the rest of the game.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool, but I actually think for the effect, it could be the exact same effect, but be less mana. Honestly think it could go down to 5 and still be reasonable. Because you're not getting a body, you're not getting any immediate effect on the board. You're just... It's a turn, like I think 5 is appropriate because Freeze Mage would always have to find a turn to Kabbalist's Tome, which is basically 5 mana do nothing, but set up for future turns. This would be 5 mana do nothing, set up for future turns. This would be...
Yeah. It enables a turn 6 Flame Strike, which is scary to me.
Honestly, for a deck that's running this card, a turn 6 Flame Strike might almost be necessary for them just to...
That'd be the only thing that's gonna keep them in the game,
Exactly, so... I like the idea. I like the idea of Hearthstone putting enchantments in the game. I think that's something that I would love to see in a set.
Yeah, static effects. Yeah. I think my only thing with that is I would want there to be a way to destroy them.
Yeah,
not like super common way, but like some way.
That would be super weird though, because they'd have to decide: are just some classes going to be able to do it? Are all classes going to be able to do it?
Like in Magic, when black cannot destroy enchantments?
You just have to trigger me right now. God. I don't know anybody, if anybody's played Magic, but you should know the struggle of enchantments if you're a black player, which I was.
Yeah, Magic just decides they're like, some classes are not gonna get certain things.
And Hearthstone does the same thing. Nobody else freezes but Mage. Nobody else has to choose one but Druid.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, this is another very, very legendary effect.
Yeah.
It's just like, boom, I'm stronger now.
Yeah. I think it could be, especially since it is a legendary, so, I mean, it's a one of, I think it could be tuned up in power by decreasing in cost.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But very cool idea. All right, so we're actually down to yours and mine here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it didn't feel like 14, but... here we go. I've got yours up there.
All right, cool. So I kind of went the opposite route. A lot of people were like, "I'm going to make a big 10-mana bomb spell," and I was thinking about Paladin spells because I played a Paladin in WoW, and most of the big cool spells are already in Hearthstone. Like Avenging Wrath's already there. Lay on Hands is already there.
Yeah.
Divine Shield's already a thing. So I was like, what is something I did as a paladin that it was like, this is my thing. This is only a paladin thing. And I was like, Bubble Hearth. So, for the uninitiated, the Hearthstone is an item in World of Warcraft, if you don't know. And what the Hearthstone does, it is a 10 to 12 second cast time item that teleports you back to an inn. So when you're out questing and you're like, all right, I'm done for the day, or I need to sell to a vendor, you just use your Hearthstone, and then after 10 seconds of casting, you get teleported back to an inn. But, just like any spell, using the Hearthstone can be interrupted. So, like, you can't just, if you're getting attacked by the opposite faction, you can't just Hearthstone and run away, because you're getting attacked. Or if you're in the middle of a bunch of monsters, you can't just, hearth away. Unless you have a way...
God, I hate it.
Unless you have a way to become completely invincible for 12 seconds. And it just so happens the Paladins have a little spell called Divine Shield, which makes you completely invincible for 12 seconds. So, what you do is you put your Divine Shield on your hotbar, and you put your Hearthstone right next to it. And since they're both exactly 12 seconds, you gotta hit that Divine Shield, and then just start hammering your Hearthstone to make sure it goes off fast enough. And then you can just hearth away, protected by a little magic bubble. You can give them a little rude gesture while you're doing it. You can blow them kisses during those 12. There's a lot you can do in those 12 secones while you're hearthing away.
I hate you so much.
So like bubble hearthing was if you are a paladin, your privilege in WoW is you just don't die. And
that's not your only privilege in WoW. I have to interject here because there was Paladins were not always insanely great. It happened in the Burning Crusade expansion, which is probably one of the reasons you love that expansion so much.
It more so happened in Lich King because
no, you're right. Is that when they fixed ret pallies? Yeah. So anyway, there was, I guess, at the beginning of Wrath, stand corrected. Blizzard had like a love affair with Paladins. They just decided to give them everything that was the most OP thing, and they just became this insane abomination. Like, you could not beat them. I was a Shadow Priest, and they're a pretty excellent 1v1 class, and I used to destroy any spec of Paladin just pretty laughably because of kiting abilities and self-healing.
They just never touched you.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I ran into because we played on a PvP server, open PvP. So the first time I saw this freaking Draenei like post Wrath of the Lich King Ret Paladin fix patch, and she's coming at me, and I'm like, oh, you want to do this? Because I'm like 100% confident I've got it. And she just runs up to me and just explodes with light. And hits me one time. Literally exploded. It just like swirled around. They gave him this spell called a Divine Storm, which I'd never seen up to this point. And she hits me one time with her hammer, and I just died. And it was insane. But so, as if that all isn't bad enough, if they actually picked a fight with you and you were going to win somehow, they would do this. And it was so not fair. I'm triggered. Anyway, what does the card do? I haven't even said what the card does yet.
From like a PvP perspective, like it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But like I leveled as protection, so I couldn't really fight back most of the time.
True.
So if I was getting ganged up on, I was just like, all right, see you losers, I'm out of here. So anyway, I was thinking, just to make it make sense with what it actually does, it needed to be a secret kind of along the same lines of like redemption, because the minions bubble hearthing away, so they become immune and they leave only to return later. So instead of redemption, where it dies and then it immediately comes back with 1 health, Bubble Hearth brings it back at the beginning of your next turn, so they can't attack right away. But they come back at full health with a Divine Shield. Yeah. So depending on the minion, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, you would definitely have to build around this card, or at least play around it to force a good Bubble Hearth onto like a target you want it to be on.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's balanced. It would add an interesting play against like a Paladin deck, or a meta where Paladins were running this, because every time a Paladin threw on a secret, you'd have to wonder, is it Bubble Hearth? Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that is actual in-game footage of me Bubble Hearthing away from a bunch of Alliance guards.
Yeah, I can actually clearly see her back there. With her stupid Stormwind shield.
Yeah, stupid Alliance. They're stupid.
That was our guild tabard from Archangels, right?
No, that's the Blood Knight tabard.
Oh, is it? Ours looked similar to that.
Yet another special little perk of being a paladin.
We're done talking about paladins.
Get your own cool tabard to wear.
Whatever. All right, let's talk about a cool class, Priest. So everybody should know that's listened to the show at all before that I am absolutely obsessed with Shadow Priests. Priests to me in WoW were one of the most interesting classes because their specs make them more different from each other than I think any other class's specs. You know, you've got your pure DPS classes like Warlock and Mage that just do different colors of damage. Then you've got Paladin, which is a fully hybrid class, able to do tanking, healing, and DPSing. But it all still feels very on brand. You use like kind of the same spells, a lot of the same kit, but you're kind of just spec differently with different gear and stuff. But you look at a Holy Priest and a Shadow Priest, and I don't think there's one spec that's more different from each other within one class.
Recognizable. At least it was. I don't know what it's like now. It's probably all the same.
I don't know, but I've heard good things about Legion. Regardless, though, there are a few things that also drew me to it just beyond the fact that Shadow Form is awesome, and I like DPSing. I like draining, Basically, I fall, like, there's people who like to take lots of damage and be able to heal. There's people who like to just burn you down. And then I'm right in the middle where I like to do some damage and heal myself a little bit. And I also really like damage over time effects. So I kind of put all of that into one card. And I came up with a new keyword called Curse. And this would be really similar to quests, including the fact that it could start in your hand, or it would start in your hand and you can mulligan it away, because this card would be absolutely garbage if you drew it in late game. So my card is called Devouring Plague, which was the key dot damage over time in the WoW rotation of Shadow Priests when I played, and other than Shadow Word Pain, but that's already a card. It is a 3-mana spell that curses your opponent, which would show up, right where secrets and quests do. It would just be there, like a little marker, some kind of red blood drop or something. And this particular curse, and curses can't be removed. So once it happens, it's done. This particular curse deals 1 damage to your opponent at the start of their turn. And your hero restores health equal to the damage dealt.
Yep.
So at first glance, it doesn't even really seem that good, right? Because like 1 damage and 1 health is like, meh.
Yeah.
But so what I thought of to make it a little bit more potent, especially for being a legendary spell, and the reason that I worded how the healing works on the card, how I did, is that this card, the curse would be affected by spell power, spell damage, on minions.
Right.
Or anything else that got printed with this card, like, or if you were playing it wild, like Villain's Chosen, anything that adds spell damage.
Yeah.
So this actually fits perfectly into the kind of damaging priest archetype that I would want to do with Mind Blast and Shadow Form, right? Because it's giving you consistent damage, which priest sorely lacks. I mean, it really comes down to draws, and if you have a board, if you're going to be able to finish someone off with priest, it's really hard. Yeah. It's giving you sustain against aggro, and just helping you to piece together what you need to piece together to live. It works with Velen, who notoriously never sees play. So if you can throw down Velen in conjunction with some other spell power and get a really big tick on this at the start of your opponent's turn. And it's dealing damage on your opponent's turn. Only one other card in the game has done that, which was Curse of Rafam. Or no, Burrowing Mind too, and there may have been a couple others. But what's particular to note about that is that it would get around like Ice Block and stuff.
Someone literally just said that in the comments.
Oh, really? I don't have the comments open. But you could put this in the deck where you're running subpar minions that have some spell power because of how good this card is, and then what you're just trying to do in a world where we don't have Emperor Thaurissan, unless you're playing Wild, is you can actually do a Mind Blast, like spell power kill your opponent in a way that's not gonna just instantly make you lose.
Right.
So that
I think it's mostly balanced. Like you can't. It's not like 1 mana, so you can't just curve right into a Blood Mage Thalnos or something and just start eating away at them like that. So you have to be like a little inefficient if you really want to exploit this thing. The only thing that really seems busted is like Malagos, but even then, that's 9 mana. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I could pretty much build the deck in my head right now. It's absolutely Malagos. You'd be running Blood Mage Thalnos and the Kobolds, like pretty much all the Kobolds. And Barnes. Just imagine Barnesing into a Malagos.
Yep, that'd be pretty fucked.
Like, which you would curve right into Barnes and like hit Malagos and just get 6 damage to face, 6 damage, or 6 heal.
Bottom right.
Basically. Yeah, I just think it would be really fun.
Yeah,
it might be too OP. I don't know. In some games, it's going to be too OP, and in some games, it's going to do absolutely almost nothing. So,
it's hard to balance something like that.
Yeah.
But without seeing it in action.
Exactly.
But I like it. It's a good idea.
Word. Yeah. Anyway, I think that does it for card submissions.
Yeah, I think that's just about everything. We had a much bigger show than I anticipated we would.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, just Hearthstone, man. Things are happening.
Things are happening. It's exciting. So just, if you guys want to submit, we got to do the challenge.
I actually
you have one planned, don't you?
One this time. Can you believe it? I actually remembered to come up with one before I was backed into a corner. So for next week, remember, which is when we're starting we're only going to do the top 6, and you got to follow the prompt. So listen up. All right, so next week, take one existing card. So we're not actually creating new cards here.
Right.
Remove exactly one word from the text of that card, and then add exactly one word to the card. So
you don't have to replace that word. You can just take out a word somewhere, add a word somewhere.
Yes. Pull one word out, insert another word. You can replace the word you took out, or you can place the word somewhere else.
That's a neat idea. I like that.
Yes.
It is challenging.
It is, exactly. Perfect for our new format. And I guess kind of the goal of this would be to like low-key make the card stronger than it is currently.
Right.
Or make it do something that it wasn't able to do before. Or make it do something entirely different. It's actually like I've been thinking about it. Because I wanted to make sure that it was actually doable. So I was like, I wanted to come up with a couple of things in my head, and I've come up with some really interesting stuff. So I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options. I find myself saying that a lot. Like, oh, if only this card just did this.
Right.
You know.
Like pull out health, put in damage. You know, like.
Yeah. Right.
You know, just cool stuff. So we will.
Cool. There's the prompt.
Yes.
Get on it.
We should start. I think we'll probably put the prompt in the show notes. And also, I mentioned the link to the Florida Fireside Gatherings. We could also throw that into the show notes. So if you guys want to go check that out, definitely would love to see some people out there. If anybody has the means to make it out to Brandon, Florida, to the B-Dubs for the HCT preliminaries, it should be a blast. It's gonna be fun.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time.
Me too. So until next time, guys, if you like the show, consider taking a second, giving us a good rating on iTunes or wherever you listen to our podcast at. We would greatly appreciate that. And
pretty please. Unless really are bad, and in that case, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just
how it is. If you don't like it, then I mean, don't say anything.
We appreciate all you guys who have been with us since the beginning, and all you folks on Twitch watching us live.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, and of course, also you can tweet at us. We have our tweeters up there at Dookie Shed and at Clash with K and an E _HS. So come tweet at us some stuff. All right, guys. Until next time, stay salty.
Stay salty.